90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back. This time tonight on Spectrum, what motives is the opposition harboring in regards to their calls for peaceful demonstrations? Our guests, Ambassador Dr. Olara Otunnu, President of the Uganda People's Congress, also a former presidential candidate. We also have Honorable Mike Sebalu, Member of Parliament for the East African Legislative Assembly, also a member of the NRM's NEC, that's the supreme governing organ of that party. Ambassador Otunnu, you claimed that the election process was a sham, but then you took part in it. Why?
Oh, we made it very clear from actually the very beginning that we did not accept the Electoral Commission because the Electoral Commission, the Museveni-Chigunda Commission, was part of the rigging machine of the NRM. From day one, we said that. And throughout the elections and the campaign, one of the reasons for going into the campaign, we made it clear, was to make free and fair elections a big issue, a platform for the campaign, and we did. It was also through the campaign that we popularized and explained to the people of Uganda the Blue Book, the book of petition that people were signing, showing they had no confidence in Museveni-Chigunda Electoral Commission, no confidence in the register of voters. Sadly, we have been proved right, sadly, that the experience through which Ugandans have gone in the so-called elections proved beyond any doubt that there may have been that this was an entirely sham exercise, which is why we are now receiving even more signatures being registered by Ugandans to say they have no confidence in what has happened and they want fresh, free, fair elections.
Why didn't you go to court instead?
Actually, we did. You see, what Museveni has now done, he has removed all doubts which may have existed, which is to say that he has proved to Ugandans that we cannot have democratic change in Uganda operating within Museveni's rules, within Museveni's mold, within Museveni's processes, using Museveni's institutions, because we went to the court. On previous elections, they went to the court, and you know the outcome. Before these elections, we put a petition before the Constitutional Court with all the evidence carefully documented over many months. UPC did this, and FDC then joined us in filing the petition, showing all the fraud within the register, showing the ghost voters, showing the ghost polling stations, showing all the examples of the rigging which was going on. The Constitutional Court, having now colluded with Museveni, did not address a single legal issue raised, did not address any piece of evidence we put before them. They gave a kangaroo ruling, simply say, sorry, this petition is dismissed, full stop. No argument, no explanation. Once again, utter impunity. Like Museveni himself, I can give this dismissal, you can do nothing about it, too bad. So, we have tried the courts, we've tried the police, we've tried the Electoral Commission, we've tried going to the ballot to the ballot station to vote. We have tried everything that Museveni has provided. It is clear none of these things work. They have all been blocked with complete impunity. Ugandans must now go outside Museveni's logic and rules and processes. As Mr. Sebalu said, if the people of Uganda are supreme, as our constitution provides, well, this is now the moment for the people of Uganda to take back that sovereignty and take charge of the country and say, we are now going to operate directly to take charge of the country, and we're going to operate on our own rules, within our own framework, not the one provided by Museveni, because we have been blocked from every direction, every processes. So yes, we've been to the court, we've been everywhere. Indeed, we even took part in the elections, which gave us the opportunity to gather all the evidence, remove any iota of doubt that you cannot produce democratic change working on Museveni's terms and Museveni's rules. We are now at a moment of truth, a moment of choice. The people of Uganda, because they are supreme, because sovereignty and power belongs to the people of Uganda, must now say to Museveni, sorry, enough is enough. We are now taking charge. We are taking back our country.
So what next? You had a small demonstration today. What next?
Well, today is a launch of a process, a launch of a movement. This, as I said, is positive non-violence resistance. Very important. Why positive? Because we are calling for free and fair election. It's a positive thing we are demanding. It's non-violent because we want to be completely peaceful, and we've demonstrated that today. It's resistance because we are resisting against Museveni's repression, his rigging, the sham election, the dictatorship, and its brutality. Indeed, if indeed the NRM has got the kind of legitimacy and support that the Honorable Sebalu describes, why then have Kampala turn into a garrison city today? Why have the country turn into a garrison country during the elections?
They have to provide protection.
You don't provide protection by making it appear Uganda is about to be invaded by some army from outside. If these are citizens who have the power, who are supreme, they want to demonstrate with these bare hands. Look at these hands. These bare hands, no weapons at all. Why have this garrison established around Kampala? It is because Mr. Museveni and NRM are in a deep panic. But the people of Uganda have seen through this charade, they have seen through the sham, they have seen through the repression, the lies, and they are now saying enough is enough. These are the signs of a regime and a president in great panic because he has no confidence in his own people. If he had confidence in the people of Uganda, he wouldn't rig the elections. He wouldn't be doing the pre-taking. He wouldn't be doing the ballot stuffing. He wouldn't bankrupt the country and print money to pour into the countryside like water. He wouldn't have the kind of the ghost polling station, the ghost voters, name it, all the things that we have recorded. It is because he has no confidence whatsoever. He knows the people of Uganda will never vote for him if they were to vote freely. That's why he's had to rig so massively and make this exercise a sham. We won't go for it. We won't accept it. We are challenging him and say, Museveni, sorry, this is our country. We are taking charge.
Well, we don't have evidence that more money was printed, not at least from the central bank.
We do. Money was printed like there's no tomorrow. You just wait and see the inflation, which people are going to begin seeing. The price of food, the price of oil, the price of everything. They'll see within no time. Wait and see the bankruptcy that the country is now suffering. Museveni took the money from National Treasury. Absolutely. And then printed some more. Absolutely. We're in deep economic financial crisis as well as a political crisis because of what Museveni has had to do to conduct the sham elections.
Well, I know that 2 credit lines have been cancelled. One of them was from the IMF just before the elections. They cancelled about $140 million.
It is nothing at all because even the money from outside was all commingled, was all mixed into one big pot to buy and to finance the sham elections.
This is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight we're asking the question, what motives is the opposition harboring in regards to their calls for peaceful demonstration? They had a small demo today. Ambassador Olara Otunnu is here. He's one of the leaders of that demonstration. He said they've launched the beginning of what they think will take Uganda back to the people. Like he said, you can send text messages. You'll be calling in. You'll be able to call in shortly. You can send text messages. What you do, type the word Spectrum, leave a space, your message, question or comment, and send it to 7197. That's right, Spectrum 7197.
May I say by the way that what we've seen in Museveni's statements about killing demonstrators, about crushing and munching like samosas, peaceful Ugandans, about releasing live fire and tear gas on peaceful traders in Kisaka. These are precisely the kinds of action, the kinds of evidence that the International Criminal Court was designed for. I was involved in designing the International Criminal Court.
When you
I drafted, yes, significant portions of the text of the Rome Statute, which governs the International Criminal Court. What Museveni is doing, what is ordering the security people to do, they are beginning their journey to the ICC.
We'll talk about
we are collecting the evidence. We're taking images. We're writing down everything, recording everything. They are beginning their journey to the ICC. You know, Gaddafi sent troops to fire on demonstrators in Libya.
Yes.
He's now being investigated by the ICC.
Yes.
You know, in Kenya, just this week, today it was announced that 6 leaders of government are being taken to The Hague for trial because they instigated, because they're alleged to have instigated the violence in the post-election period in Kenya. Well, Museveni is doing this in broad daylight. He had better put on his shoes and begin his journey to the ICC. We are not going to compromise on this.
Well, strong words there from a former UN diplomat, a veteran diplomat at the UN at that, now president of the Uganda People's Congress. Honorable Sebalu, there are a lot of things that he's raised, but let's first of all talk about the Blue Book. He says they've gathered 4 million signatures, which is ostensibly a vote of no confidence in the electoral process. 4 million people doing that quiet referendum, a vote of no confidence in the electoral process.
Well, I find that to be laughable to begin with. If ever that Blue Book does exist, and it is authentic with 4 million people, is something that I find to be a bit of an interesting episode, because looking at the clear statistics that we got, you know, even if you are to use the 26%, and even if you are to add the collection of all the opposition candidates that stood, even if you
won't get that, but we know,
even if you are to add all their
you not get 4 million, but
to begin with, because we must be scientific.
Yes.
If someone believes in your cause, he must come out and be part of you.
But still,
so
some people did not vote. Well, about 5 million people did not vote, did not take part in the election, according to the Electoral Commission statistics.
You see, you can't bank on that scientifically. It would be a bit of
well, it gives a gap,
a different kettle of fish, because
what is the problem there? Can you explain?
No.
I don't follow you.
What I simply say that the kind of turnout that you got as opposition, to begin with, those
the turnout was for the election as a whole, not just for the opposition.
Yeah, but if the best way of expressing opposition was to come and vote against someone who did not participate in the vote, was literally neutral, was neither for or against.
All the names that you crossed out, and those you gave the run around.
Can you give me?
All right, let's say, Honorable Sebalu,
make it short though.
I did a bit of a good diplomatic.
Make it short though.
Let's say
I listened out, and I think, like you know, in diplomacy we reciprocate.
We shall hear.
So let me benefit from that principle of reciprocity. Now, anyone who is for you, or anyone who wants to make a political statement in a political process, is that one who comes out and votes either for or against. And that is scientific, that is a clear statement of objection or support.
Okay.
So when you come now to talk about people who are neither for nor against,
you can't
have a very serious argument against that.
Okay.
But the number that came out and clearly stated they were not for Museveni, it cannot even make up 3 million when you add FDC supporters, those that voted for candidate Besigye, for candidate Mao, and anyone. So definitely that one is a sham. If you are now to use the word sham in a better perspective, I would rather use it for that kind of Blue Book.
I'd like us to hear from
an imaginary, and it is
well, there's also a yellow book.
Fertile imagination of some
different colors of books, the Blue Book, yellow book.
Now, like the dismissal of the petition, it was simply incompetent. The courts of law could not entertain something incompetent, and as a lawyer, he knows that very well. Now, the outcome of the election clearly shows that President Museveni has the people with him. So whatever one says, I don't get.
Let's hear from our listeners. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. You can call in now. Our telephone numbers 0414-348-111. 0312-260-390, 0791-909-909. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Your name?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bonnie. Good evening, Dr. Otunnu.
Good evening, sir.
I want to comment on your activities today. I'm impressed that you brought in some courage into Ugandans, local people like myself. But then I want to say that Ugandans are not going to be united to fight Museveni out because of political oppression. I think Ugandans will organize themselves and get united when they are economically oppressed. And that must not be organized by politicians. Because if it is organized by politicians, definitely, Mr. Otunnu, I would love to say that it won't succeed.